Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest, rookie 212 Pro, already has a win under his belt. I saw him win the Indy Pro. His next stop will be the Olympia weekend in Las Vegas. Please welcome from Reno, Nevada, Tonio Burton. What's up, Tonio?
How you doing? Thank you for having me on too, by the way.
Yeah, you were, we get pleasantly surprised sometimes at these shows because I'm looking at that lineup and when I saw a few names I didn't recognize, I'm like, yeah, whatever, Tonio Burton. Never heard of him. I'm looking at John Jewett, Noel Adame, Justin Randall, Samir Trudy. That's in my head. That's who I think is going to be front runners. And then I get to the show, first call out, Tonio Burton, Nathan Epler, and a couple of the other guys. And I had to sit up and notice. I mean, when you're good, you're good. It doesn't matter if your name has been out there for a while, if you have 1 million Instagram followers, none of that matters. It's all about the physique. And that day you had the physique. So we need to let people know who you are because right now you're kind of an unknown, and that's got to change because you're damn good. So let's start off. Where are you from? What kind of things were you into as a kid?
Originally I'm from West Monroe, Louisiana, but I'm here in Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
And as a kid, I was athlete, so football was my thing. That's what I thought. I was gonna be a football player my whole life.
Yeah.
So then things happen, and you have to come up with something different.
Yeah, that's a whole story. We don't want to go right past that whole football thing because you were better. I think you're not giving yourself enough credit there. But first of all, I want to know, was bodybuilding something, we'll get into it later, but was that something that you were even aware of or interested in earlier, or was that after football that all that happened?
No, I remember seeing like bodybuilding on TV or internet even, and some people talk about it or whatnot, but never was something I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get on stage and film those underwear. So it's never something I was into.
Okay, so NFL, that was the end goal for you. You were a very, very good high school player, but I watched another interview and you didn't go directly from high school to college. There was a gap of something like 5 years there. So yeah. What happened? What kept you out of, what delayed you for 5 years?
I was a knucklehead in high school, and I ended up, getting my ex pregnant, before graduation of high school. So, I stayed to take care of my family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And your mom, was your mom sick too?
Yeah. So my mom, she's diabetic. She was going through dialysis, weight going up, weight going down. It was crazy to see because even during high school, my senior year, we did a camp at the college here in Nevada, the UNR. Yeah. And I remember doing the camp and a coach coming up to me saying, we'll give you a full ride scholarship if you keep your grades up.
Wow.
And my mom ended up having to go through dialysis. And every morning I was driving her to and then picking her up. Wow. So I ended up missing a lot of school as well because I made that my main focus.
As a good son should. I mean, that's right. Your mom. I'm just curious, did she ever get a kidney transplant or what happened with that?
Yeah. So my older sister actually was the one who did it for her.
Oh, wow. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you were a standout high school football player. And most people would say, geez, you're 18, 19, but when you graduate, you better hurry up and get to college. But you didn't get into college until you were like 23, 24.
Right.
So that was a little bit of a late start. For somebody that was really good as you were an excellent running back. Was there ever the thought that I kind of might have missed my window because those 5 years, I really should have been already done with college for a year and I should be in the NFL by now by the time you started college?
Yes and no. I knew some coaches wouldn't even give you a look because they see your age. But I mean, just kind of like you said, it doesn't matter how many followers you have or how much your name has been up there. It's what you got. So if you have a talent for it, then it can't be denied.
Right. So you came very, very close. Tell us how close you came to playing for the NFL.
I went to Miami and worked out with a few of the Green Bay Packers for their OTAs. So I got to work out with them, do a couple of drills in front of their recruiter, Alonzo Highsmith. So which was cool. I was out there for about a week. And then I was talking to agents and, just everything was starting to come together to where I didn't want to speak about it too much to people. So I was like, I'm going to just let it happen when it happens, Mm-hmm. And I remember working out and running the 40 is when my hamstring went. And
ooh, yeah.
Again, because it happened all through college. My Achilles was also an issue. So, and it was all on the same leg. I don't know.
I mean, it seems like the most common injury for football players is hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it's because the quads are so much more powerful, or it's just the nature of all that sprinting that you guys do in the short bursts of play?
Yeah, I mean, like you could tell if you look at my physique, I'm very quad dominant.
Mm,
So my hamstring just couldn't handle what my quads were doing,
yeah,
from what my trainer would say.
right.
So then they talked about surgery and everything, but I just kept doing the cortisone shots, which doesn't necessarily heal it. It just
No.
takes the pain away. So you think you're 100% and you try to go 100% and there it goes again. So
Yeah. Were you trying to get bigger, put on mass for football too?
a little bit. Few schools, especially the bigger schools back down south, they want bigger backs. So if it wasn't Oregon, then I wanted to put on size to go somewhere like LSU even. And I remember getting up to about 205, 210.
Wow.
And my agility went out the window.
Wow.
I was a downhill back after that. So
What was your best weight as a running back, body weight?
I'd say about 190, 195.
Okay. You know who else was an awesome running back? Sean Ray. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of his records still stand. And that was, a million years ago. Not a million, it was like 35, 40 years ago. Geez. So how did you go from, so now, you're injured as a lot of guys. I have a good friend that I used to train with, and he went to training camp and got, I think it was a hamstring too. So that's what happens. A lot of guys just get hurt because it's a brutally hard game. Guys get hurt all the time. So, how did you go from that to bodybuilding? What was the transition, or what was the moment that it came together for you?
Well, I remember going to a nutrition store in Reno, and because I wanted to continue to live. Like, I enjoyed it. It saved me. It was very therapeutic for me at the time. And I started getting into nutrition and everything. And I went to this nutrition store, and he goes, you should bodybuild. There's a show coming up in Reno, Nevada, the Tahoe show. You should do it. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You know what? I'll try it. And I remember as the show got closer, I backed out. Psych myself out of it. I'm not doing it. So then I continued to work out. And then my coach now, he seen me. He was like, you should let me coach you for a show. And I was like, no, I'm not going to compete. I just like lifting. And they were like, dude, you have all the genetics in the world. Don't waste it. Nah. I'm going to just lift. And I remember talking to them about this the other day, and they were like, how irritated they were with me. Because, not everyone has genetics, and for me to waste it. So then I went back to the nutrition store, and he talked to me more about competing. I was like, all right, when's the next shot to do it? So, which was a mother load. And I ended up doing the NPC mother load. And I remember being on stage and looked like I seen a ghost. Like, I did not belong up here.
Yeah, when you backed out of the show the first time, was it because you weren't confident in yourself, or just the idea of being up there? And a lot of guys say, I don't want to get up there in those little trunks because it's weird. What was it with you?
I mean, that was the biggest thing, was just getting up there in the trunks. Because I didn't know enough to look and see what competition was. It was just like, oh, they say I have a nice body, so I'll do good, I guess. So but once Motherload came, and then I was, mentally ready and refused to back out of it, then it was me getting you will do good. You might not win, but you'll do good. Yeah. And that's when the doubt started for everything. Like, there hasn't been one show that I've had where someone, well, if not everyone, was telling me, you'll do good, but let's just think about it. Like, don't expect this. So
yeah, I talk about this all the time, that there are two types of guys who get into bodybuilding. Most of them don't have really good genetics at all. But they want to get bigger, they want to get stronger, they want to hopefully get some girls, they want the guys to respect them. If they're coming to bodybuilding from like a place of insecurity, and they're hoping bodybuilding and the muscles are gonna help them feel better about themselves. That's probably 90% of people that get into bodybuilding. You would fit into that 10% category of where it's an extension of your athletic career, where you were a very good athlete at something else. Often it's football, mostly it's football. You get a lot of wrestlers too. And you have the genetics for bodybuilding, and someone will point it out to you, or multiple people will point it out to you, like, man, they'll ask you if you compete, or they say you should compete. And typically the people that fit in your category, they do very well from the beginning, because let's be real, bodybuilding is mostly genetics. You can't turn a Chihuahua into a Rottweiler. So, so what was that first, you won the first show, I'm assuming, the Motherload?
Right.
Yeah. So what were people telling you as far as potential, and what did you think about yourself at the time?
Well, so after Motherload, and I won the overall for it, I had people backstage telling me, you know what, like, in 2-3 years, you'll get your pro card, and another 3 years you'll go to Olympia. You can do it. You have the genetics for it. 5 years. So, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, all right, I don't know much about it. So I'm like, all right. And then Chris Mendez, he sent me to Vancouver to compete.
Oh, wow.
And everyone was telling me this will be a small show. It's in Canada, but it was a pro amateur show. It was a national show to get your pro card.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means. So we go and pre-judging, I was center stage, and everyone was calling me and telling me, like, dude, you're about to turn pro. What are you talking about? And they were like, this is a national qualifier for your pro card. So now I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. And I ended up getting third that show. And when I was bummed out about it. I was mad, but then people were telling me, like, dude, it was your second show national and you got third. Like, what are you upset about? And then coming back to Reno, Chris Mendez was like, dude, you need to expand. There's no point in doing local shows. Like, get out. So then that's when I stopped competing locally, and then I went off to Vegas and competed in Samson's Showdown.
Okay.
And he paid my way for USA's.
So was this all? So the Motherlode, the first show, was that 2018 was your first show?
Yeah. So it was 2018, and then I did Vancouver, and then I didn't compete at all. Oh, yeah. So, because I didn't get my pro card to 2019.
Yeah.
And that's the same year I did Samson. So after Vancouver, I didn't compete for the rest of the year. I just took time to grow.
Gotcha. So they told you it would take all this time, but your first show was 2018. You turned pro at the 2019 USA. You won the light heavies?
Yes.
Correct. And then, 2020, obviously. Well, I want to know, first of all, you turned pro. It was like your fourth show ever, right?
Yeah. Fourth or fifth, yeah.
Fourth or fifth. You're up there with guys who have been doing it for 20 years. They've done 20, 30, 40 shows, some of them. I'm sure a lot of them are looking at you and like, it's not a thing where it's like a merit system, unfortunately, guys. It's, the best people win, and that's just the way it is. So what was it like for you to get that pro card? And now, because it happened so fast, for these guys, it takes 20 years. They've been thinking about it and plotting and scheming, and here's what I'm going to do. What was it like for you? Because it had to be kind of overwhelming to be like, oh my God, now I'm a pro. Now what? What's next?
Yeah, it happened so fast that I remember going to the Olympia that same year and walking around, and people ran up to me asking for pictures. I'm looking at them like, what? You the one that just took your mutant made. So like to be recognized that way. And then I remember Samson Patrick came up to me and was like, dude, get used to it. Like, this is only the beginning. And I felt like I see a pro and I'm like, oh gosh, I got to get a picture with this pro right here. And I remember a pro I actually ran into Sean Clarita, and he was walking with his wife in the parking lot. And I was starstruck. I like stopped and I was like, oh my God, can I get a picture? And the people I was with was like, oh, we thought you were talking to his girl the way you said it.
Man. So
yeah, I've always been a fan of Sean Clarita. So
I was going to ask you, obviously you got into bodybuilding a little later, but who were the physiques? Who were the guys that really inspired you and made you want to be the best you could be?
I didn't. So really having a favorite, I didn't. But I say I'm more a fan of old school, bodybuilding. Rodney Coleman, like to see him in his prime, like that would be crazy. I wish I could have experienced something like that. Jay Cutler, to see mass monsters like that, But for prep for Indy, I remember I would go wake up, do fasting, and the whole time I'm just watching, the last year's Olympia and watching everyone up on that stage. Because even though I'm a rookie, in my head I'm thinking I'm going to be on the stage. No one's going to stop me from doing that. I stopped waking up like it was an accident to wake up. I started waking up with a purpose, and it was to get out, study what everyone's doing, and watch what everyone's doing, and I'll do it. So
2020, a lot of people either figured out early on this year is effed, and I'm not even going to bother trying to compete, or others had shows in mind and the shows got moved and canceled and this and that. When 2020 started, what was your plan for the year? Were you already planning to take the year off and grow, or were you planning on making your pro debut and it just things weren't lined up because of this quarantine and all the shutdowns?
No, we actually, so right after USA's, we planned to roll into New York and do a New York pro, but then it didn't get canceled. I thought it got canceled, but they just moved it.
Got moved 3 times.
Yeah, so then I was like, I'm done for the year. Let's just grow.
Yeah. And I mean, what you turned pro at 198 and a quarter, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jumping way ahead to Indy, but what'd you weigh in at Indy?
I after stripping down everything, because I was the only one who had to like strip completely naked.
Now, some guys have
I
full
was,
tracksuits, Air Jordans, and they still made weight.
everything.
Yeah.
So I was what, 210?
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So you're already very, very close to the limit right now.
Yeah, and my coach is feeding me like a racehorse right now. So what's going on?
I don't want to jump ahead again, but are you plan on staying in the 212 division for a while or no?
Well, talking with my coach and him knowing the struggles that I had to get down with my weight, we're probably going to end up going into open.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the first thing like I said, when the lineup came out, you caught everyone's attention right away because, you had this great structure, great shape, and real thickness, density to the muscles. There were a couple guys, I'll be honest, there were a couple guys in the top 5 who had better condition, but it's not the biggest guy. It's not the most ripped guy. It's a combination. It's the best total package. And as the call outs went on, I was like, this guy I've never heard of. I think he's going to win the show. So when you were getting ready for Indy, in your head, were you thinking, I have a good a chance as anybody? It's all about the physique? Or were you thinking, they might just make me, they might not look at me because they don't know who I am. And they're going to look at this John Jewett. They're going to look at Samir. They're going to look at all the guys that they've seen before. And maybe I'm not going to get a good look. Where was your head at getting ready for Indy?
When I first found out who John Jewett was, I would watch him all the time. I was on his Instagram. I was on, YouTube, everything. Same with Chuadi, Nick, or Nathan Epler, him as well, because I competed with Nathan back in USA's. Right. So I know how good he can look, So, these are all guys I'm watching, but never did I have the mentality to, just roll over or, tuck my tail. Yeah. I'm going to get up there, your man, just like I'm a man. We're going to battle this out.
Yeah. I think the judging at Indy showed, it was proof because, people say, oh, it's all politics. It's, you have to know the judges and kiss their butts and you have to have a big name sponsor and all that. It's all bullshit because 3 out of the top 5, it was your pro debut. I think it was your pro debut. It was Nathan's. I'm pretty sure it was at Brian Balzano's pro debut too. So right there, that tells you it doesn't matter. None of that matters. All that matters is what's up on stage. How do you look compared to the other guys? Nothing else matters. So, I think it gives people a lot of confidence in the judging when they see something like that, because in the past, I've been to shows where the right guy didn't win. Some guy, he got overlooked and he was better than the guy that won. I've seen it many times over the years, but I think the judging, honestly, the past few years has been so much better, more fair, less politics. And, I think the split between the IPB helped a lot. I think they got rid of a lot of the judges that were shady. I don't know. I don't want to get but it had to be a good feeling to know that it was all about the physique and you had the best physique and nothing else mattered on that day. So what was it like your first pro show to walk away with a win and your ticket to the Olympia?
That whole trip, I was like trying my hardest not to stress and overthink things. And I remember pre-judging, because I've never been judged that way, to where, we were on stage for 7-8 minutes.
They worked the shit out of you guys.
I remember after they pulled off Nathan and John Jewett, and then finally they pulled me off, I remember walking over to Nathan and going, hey, what's going on? He was like, dude, they're still judging us. I'm like, yo, I'm about to pass out. He's like, well, get ready because they're going on again. Yeah. And sure enough, we did. And after pre-judging ended, we all get out of there. And I remember talking to Jay and Mannion and, a few other people, and they were telling me he was posing you guys so much because some people's conditioning gets worse or it gets better. And they were like, yours was getting better the more you posed on. So I was like, maybe I should pose a little extra backstage. But, go and get home and talk to my coach. And I'm like, yo, how much water can I get? And he was like, 6 ounces. Like, well, when I walked off on pre-judging, I kind of drank about 6 ounces of water. He goes, well, then you're done. So didn't get water after that. So I just ate and passed out. But I was stressed. And usually when I do that, I go back to my childhood and I watch cartoons. So I was sitting there watching, like Hey Arnold or whatever, just trying to ease my mind.
Wow. And, how old are you, Tony? I should have asked that in the beginning.
I'm 29.
I was gonna say that Hey Arnold, that sort of dated you. That put you in a specific date range. Because that show, yeah, I remember that. He had like a football-shaped head.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. The Nickelodeon cartoon, I believe. Yeah, my kids were they're not much younger than you. So there you are. You got your Olympia qualification. You know, I know I asked you this backstage in the interview right after, but you had, so that show was April. The hell was the date on that? It was April, right?
For Indy?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when it was. I can't remember anymore. It was you, but you had a good
May.
6 months, May. You had a good 6 months between that and the Olympia. And I asked you at the time, are you just going to do the Olympia or are you going to jump into something else? You get a little more stage experience. And I think you said you were going to jump into something close to Olympia, but you might have changed your mind by now. So what's your plan now?
I wanted to do more shows. I mean, I love it. And but my coach was saying no. He doesn't want to peak my body more than what we need to.
Right.
So I was like, all right. And then so he told me to take a break after Indy. He goes, I don't want to hear about you hitting any PRs for at least 2 weeks, and so no lifting heavy.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So I took off about probably about 3-4 days, and then got back into the gym. Got after it. Was begging him to send me another diet, and he wouldn't.
So what did you rebound, or do you do that reverse dieting where you don't gain a ton of weight?
Oh no, my eating after the show, I probably had about 4 or 5 burgers that night.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, yeah, we've been crazy, and so my weight jumped up to about 238.
Oof.
Yeah, I was 238, and my coach was like, "Once you hit 240, we're going back on diet."
Because your ankles are probably like this big at
230. Yeah, it was bad.
You gotta, because a lot of guys end up going to the hospital because the salt, the water, it's just you blow up like a blowfish.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so that's cool. You mentioned training, and I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, because some guys are really obsessed with that aspect of it. How would you describe your training style?
All right. So from when I was younger, the way I learned how to work out was watching CT Fletcher.
Oh wow.
Okay. So I'll see his YouTube videos, and then I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's what I'm doing at the gym today. So having that mindset of, I'm the one, no one's going to, beat me. I'm not going to be outworked. I'm always do that extra set. Yeah. My coach he sent me my workout plan, but I always do, an extra 1 or 2 sets, get some extra reps in, then I'll throw my own drop sets. Yeah. Make sure the intensity's there. And I'm a little weird. Like when I go to the gym, I'll braid my hair. I'll wear my gold teeth or whatever, and become a different person. Yeah. Like I'm a mutant in the gym. I'm not human. I do things different. I'm always push myself. I'm not scared of the weight like most people would. Oh, I don't want to risk injury. I want to do this. Well, I seen Ronnie Coleman, pulling this weight. So maybe I need to pull weight too. Maybe I'll be a little smarter about it. But
yes, please. Not that Ronnie wasn't smart, but nobody wants to end up with those kind of issues later in life.
Right.
Yeah, the mutant. So give me some of your top lifts, because it sounds like you're a pretty strong dude.
So the most I hit for deadlift, I hit 685 for squat. The highest I went for squat was 625, and for bench I read 405 for 8 reps.
Okay, yeah, these are all good numbers for those would be good numbers for a guy who's 250, 270, and you're off season, you're about 230, 240.
Yeah, right now I'm about 232, 234.
Okay, yeah. I mean, are you trying to keep your weight down so that the next, when you start prepping for the Olympia, probably like in a month, right? No, October, July. You'd probably start next month to probably be your Olympia prep. Unless you're
already prepping.
You're already prepping. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Do you have to do a ton of cardio, or are you somebody who has a little faster metabolism?
Not well. So my coach told me not to do a lot of cardio, because on my own I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do fasted, and I'm gonna do it after my workout. Yeah. To where he was like, dude, you're way too lean right now. Like, let's slow down with cardio. Choose one session, fasted or post, because my metabolism is fast. And I don't know, like the motivation I had when I seen the Olympia is still there, if not even more. So right away it was like, no, we're back in it. Let's go. I don't need to take the time off.
Yeah, because I mean, I think the best place to be when you're training for a show like that is to feel like you're the underdog, because that makes you have to work that much harder, because nobody knows who I am. I'm up there with Kamal. I'm up there with Derek Lunsford, Sean Clarita, for God's sake. I mean, these guys are no joke. They're legendary already. And I want to be up there in the mix. I want to stand there right next to them, and hopefully, the goal is to win every show you're in. Obviously, that's why you train and diet.
Right.
So what's going through your head? I know the Olympia is still far away, but you must be already getting pretty excited.
Oh yeah, I've been excited since last year.
Yeah.
But not after seeing it. So I remember going to Olympia the previous year to watch it, and I seen the prejudging, and I'm like amazed by that. And then I seen Nick Scott, and he comes up to me. He makes me pose in front of him. So we're in the expo, and I'm posing, and like, people taking pictures, and he's giving me all this feedback and telling me how great of a competitor I'll be. And I remember talking about the stage, and he goes, "That's not the stage. You know, wait till you see the stage." And I remember them showing me what the night show stage would look like, and I told him, and I told Lance as well, they made a mistake letting me see this. I'll be here next year. Sure enough. So,
Yeah. That's a big stage too. Huge.
Oh, it was like walking into another world. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I believe that's the biggest stage I've ever had. It's like the length of a football field in that Orlando room. Huge, ridiculously big.
All the screens, all the lights. I was like,
production. But man, I mean, I can't imagine being any more motivated than the spot you're in right now, because that's the biggest stage in the world for bodybuilders. You know, you're this rookie sensation, and you really do have something to prove, because nobody's expecting anything out of you this time.
Oh yeah.
If you place last, they're like, oh well, you know, if you place anything decent, if top 5, 6, even top 10, that's going to be a tremendous accomplishment. But in your head, what are you thinking? What's your goal right now?
So I remember Dave Colombo just did a video with me, and he said on that video that he sees me 6th to 10th right now. Just make a few more changes and it could be better. In other words, bring on my quad sweeps more. So I've actually been hitting legs 3 times a week now, but instead of just the 2. But I tell myself, you know, it's not something I put out there to sound arrogant and cocky, but to myself, I tell, you know, someone's going to have to get kicked out of that top 5 because I'm coming. So I'll let them decide.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I have this conversation with almost everybody that's getting ready for shows, because there's only one winner. It's not a team sport. It's every man for himself. And if you don't have that confidence in yourself, there's no way you're going to look the best you can look, because you're going to have some mental, you're going to have a limit in your head. Well, I'm not going to make top 5. It's only my first Olympia. You know, you won't diet exactly as strictly. You won't do everything 100%, because you'll have that doubt eating away at you. But if you have that confidence, like you should, you know, you're going to give it your best shot. You're going to look the best you can possibly look, and the chips will fall wherever they fall ultimately. So,
right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm sure there's a support system. Who are some of the people right now that you're working with that are helping you on a day-to-day basis toward your goals?
So obviously, you know, my coach, he checks on me every day, all day. The competitors I have, you know, I'll go into the gym and they're always like, "Dude, you're looking good. Like, keep going, keep pushing, keep killing it." Sam, she will send me pictures of athletes, and she'll compare them. Okay, look, this is what he has, and this is what you need to work on. Yeah. So it's funny because, you know, her dad was like known in the bodybuilding world, you know, old school. Some people might know him, Lonnie Kupchenko, and
I know the name.
He did California Bodywear.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's her, you know, and so she has an eye for it. I'm just like, I can't tell the difference. So I mean, you know, hearing that is good. You know, my mom, she doesn't know much about the sport, but anytime I post a picture like on Facebook or, you know, Instagram, she's commenting on it. "Oh, looking good, son. I love you. Keep going. Let's get it. You know, get what's yours." Yeah. My kids, they let me know I'm their hero, and that's a big thing. You know, especially not having that and having to become your own hero to, you know, do the things you do. But so I mean, that's my biggest, you know, my circle right there. But
have your kids been to your shows? Any of your shows?
To my NPC days, yeah.
Okay.
But nothing. They didn't do my national show or pro debut. No.
Gotcha. How old are they now?
10, 11.
Okay, that's old enough to know what the heck's going on. I mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I called him and told him, "Hey, I'm going to Olympia." Dude, he goes, "Oh yeah, what's that?"
Well, I mean, they can look it up. I mean, they're on their phones all day, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah. I never asked you the mutant. Where did you get the nickname the mutant?
So my older sister and my older brother, because I used to do athletic training, and they noticed I had a big back, and they started calling me a Ninja Turtle. So that's where it started. And my brother would, people would talk to my brother. He'd be like, yeah, he's a damn mutant. And then that's when I was like, I'm gonna run with mutant then. So
It's hilarious. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, everybody. But
yeah,
you have much better aesthetics. They were kind of blocky looking, those turtles.
right.
Wow. So, okay. So you're, geez, about 16 weeks off the Olympia right now. You're in prep and everything. It's very exciting. What is your Instagram? We'll flash it on the screen, but I want everyone to check you out. You need some more followers.
It's Tonio_mutant_Burton.
Perfect. Easily. All right, man. Well, I thank you so much for taking the time, Tonio. It's great to see new talent that's doing well right out of the gate, because that's how it was. Back in the 90s, that was the era that I really got into this industry and everything. And I'd see guys like Levroni and Flex and Cormier, and it didn't take them years and years to start doing well as a pro. Right away, they were second at the Olympia, second at the Arnold, winning Arnold Classics. If you're good, you're good. It doesn't matter. And Tonio, you're good. You know that. So
appreciate you.
yeah. So, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure we'll talk again before the show. But in the meantime, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. It's exciting to see someone new on the scene who's already that good. It gives more life to the sport. We always need that.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate you. And I mean, it lets people know too that anything's possible. They just put their mind to it and go for it. Stop listening to the naysayers, the doubters. Like I'm going through that now too. So
well, everybody goes through that every day.
Oh yeah, that's why I seen an episode with you and Nick Walker.
Oh yeah.
And he said even he was experiencing it. So I'm like, okay, now I don't feel as bad.
Can you believe people were telling him he would never turn pro? Really?
Right. I remember seeing him at USA's, and his ass workout was back, because I remember him walking past. He was covered up, but I don't think anything could cover his frame. He was sitting down, getting ready to do back. I'm like, this is a massive kid right here. Holy shit! Like, yeah. So I always knew he was going to turn. I'm surprised it didn't happen at USA's, but I knew it was going to happen the next show it did, which it did.
Yeah. And there's no limit to how well you can do at the Olympia. We'll see. It could, don't set any limitations on yourself, because you just never know. We'll see what happens. It's still a ways away, obviously. But
oh yeah,
excited to see how you and the other new guys up there, because we need new talent. Can't keep watching these 50-year-old guys forever. They're getting no offense, I'm old too. Anyway, all right. Well, Tonio Burton, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Wishing you the best of luck. Appreciate you doing it. And everybody, appreciate you watching the show. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the alarm button, whatever that is, like, comment, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time.